Hey there, it's Clay, and in this video we are going to be talking about what if your ex has an avoidant attachment style. This is a very common question that I get, so I wanted to address this in a video. But first, once again, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, help me out, help send a message to the YouTube algorithm by smashing that thumbs up button. It does tell YouTube that these are quality videos that other people might benefit from watching. So, kind of pay it forward, hit that thumbs up button, and help someone else further on down the road find videos like this one, at least if you like these videos. And also, subscribe to the channel too. It helps me out. It helps me kind of work towards that goal that I have for myself of someday getting to that 100,000 subscriber mark. I think it'd be really cool. I'd like to someday get there, and every subscribe that you guys give helps me kind of get one little tiny step closer to there. All right, so we are going to be talking about your ex's emotional experience through all of this. If that is something that you would like to learn more about, we do have our course called the Ex Solution Program. You can find information about that in the description box below this video. But I did want to talk about attachment styles in this video. On several recent coaching calls, people have been asking me about attachment styles. They speculate that their ex is at a certain attachment style or something like that, and they want me to know, like, what does that mean, what should they do, and all that stuff. And I think that this can, in a lot of cases, be a bit of a dangerous game here, okay? Now, it's one thing if your ex has, gone to a psychologist and they have been diagnosed as, someone with an avoidant attachment style or an anxious attachment style, or they have some other condition like narcissistic personality disorder or depression or some other condition. That's a totally different thing. But what can be very dangerous is if we're just playing armchair psychologist here. We found some quiz on the internet or some video on the internet, and it's like, here are 7 signs that your ex is a narcissist or something, and it's like, there's that one. Yeah, there's that one. There's that one. And it's like, okay, that can be kind of dangerous because we're rushing for a psychological label. We don't actually have the real tools to diagnose your ex with this or that or the other thing. And what can happen is we often can take normal human emotions and experiences and sort of disregard them and say, oh, they're not having a normal human response to a breakup, but instead they are this alien creature called an avoidant, or this alien creature called a anxious attachment style, whatever, or this alien species known as whatever. And that can be really dangerous because it causes us to disregard the actual human emotion underneath that. And many of these psychological conditions are just aspects of a normal human emotional experience that are just sort of exaggerated, or certain strategies or inclinations that people with these conditions just sort of like fall on, that we all kind of experience in some form or other. And so what you want to do is you want to, again, asterisk, unless your ex has been legitimately diagnosed by a psychologist through an actual evaluation, I would be very hesitant about actually taking this and running with it. So what I would recommend that you do, however, is that you start with the assumption that your ex is, of course, a human being, right? A human being having normal human experiences, having normal human emotions. And, it's very, very common for people to come to me and to say, hey, I think my ex has an avoidant attachment style. And it's like, okay, clearly this is not the case for every person in the world, right? But for some reason, 90% of the people that come to me say my ex is an avoidant. And it's like, okay, I don't think that I have some giant red flag that's just waving up in the air that says, hey, if your ex is an avoidant, come see me, or anything like that. Maybe that might be other people out there, but I don't think that that's the case. If I do, I don't know, maybe my daughter put some kind of sign on my back or something. I don't know. But what I think is most likely happening is that your ex is just having a normal emotional experience to the breakup, which is like, okay, we went through this breakup. I feel a little bit conflicted about this. I don't want to rush to overpromise something that I can't actually follow up on. So I'm going to try to create space between the two of us so that I can kind of work through my own emotions in my own sort of way. Okay? And I think that is probably what is happening in the majority of these cases, is that your ex is just having a normal emotional response to going through a breakup. It's not necessarily that they are this, alien creature called an avoidant or anything like that. It's just that they're having these complicated, normal human emotions, and they're doing their best to kind of deal with them. That's kind of the underlying philosophy of my approach to relationships. And that is why we can actually help people to connect with their partners so much better than people that, try to learn the secret language of avoidance or the secret language of men or women or anything like that. Because we start with the basic fundamental understanding that there's more in common with us than there is different. And if we can just connect on that emotional commonality, there's a lot that's possible, and there's a lot that we can do. Whereas if we focus on what's different, we're just simply just accentuating the wedge between the two of us, and we're just creating more division between the two of us. And of course, the more division that there is, the harder it's going to be to create closeness, right? So what we want to do is we want to focus on what is common, what we share, what actually brings us together, rather than what makes us different and what makes us have our own hesitations and challenges opening up and getting close to one another. So I would be very hesitant about rushing to play armchair psychologist based off of an internet article or, a quiz or whatever. And I would just focus on like, okay, maybe that's the case, but barring any actual evaluation by a psychologist or some other qualified person like a doctor or something like that, assuming you're dealing with a medical issue, then I'm just going to start with the basic foundation that this is a human being and they're having an emotional human experience, and we can just connect with them based off of that. Because we want to create more closeness and we want to eliminate any sort of division. And by focusing on what makes our partner different from us, we're actually accentuating the division, and we're overlooking what can actually create closeness, which is what we share, what's in common between the two of us, our emotional experiences, and all of that stuff. So, I would be very careful about that. I would not really rush to label your ex as this attachment style or that attachment style or any other sort of thing. I know that's really popular. It's kind of the flavor of the week in the world to focus on attachment styles. A couple years ago, it was all about emotional unavailability. And I'm sure in a couple more years, it'll be something else that everyone wants to, rush to focus on and label and all of that stuff. But just be careful about it, okay? Because the flavor of the week may change. But what isn't going to change is the fact that we're all human beings and we're all having a human experience. And that is ultimately what brings us together. And that is ultimately what is going to inspire us to connect and to be in a relationship with one another and to actually bond. Okay. Just remember that. Start with the basic understanding that your ex is a human being and that the two of you can connect through that emotional journey. And by the way, we have been talking about the emotional journey. Once again, we do have that course called the X Solution Program. You can find it down in the description box below this video. Feel free to check it out. If it seems like it's a good fit for you, hey, welcome. You're more than invited to join us inside and to start learning how to navigate through that emotional journey with your ex. If it's not right for you, that's totally okay too. I understand that, my philosophy is not necessarily everyone else's philosophy. And, some people would rather focus on what makes people different rather than what is the core commonality between them. And I totally get it. It's not like it's, hey, my way is right and your way is wrong. It's just in my viewpoint, it's counterproductive to do that. And if you want to choose to play the game of, hey, we all want what we can't have, mind games, focus on what's different and all of that, go ahead. It's just, I'm probably not your guy. But yeah, if you do like what we're doing here, please help me out. Hit hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and all of that good stuff. If you do want to learn more about your ex's emotional world, we do have a video series on the 5 stages your ex goes through in getting back together. You can find that over here, or you might want to check out this video right here. But thank you so much. Once again, my name is Clay, and I'll talk to you in the next video.